What's up, y'all? Welcome to our YouTube channel, Africans Talk Football. Appreciate your guys' continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.
So, welcome back to another episode of Africans Talk Football, where we bring you fresh soccer news highlighting the Africans and African Americans who have seen success within the sport. We'll also bring you our favorite teams in the Premier League, MLS, NWSL, as well as informing you on top European leagues and soccer news worldwide. Whether this is your first episode with us or you've been rocking with us from the jump, I just want to say thank you again to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, my name is Cornelius. I'm joined by my boys and fellow co-hosts. Salam, how you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good, man. I can't complain. The Premier League season is over. Thank God. Mike, how about you?
I'm feeling great, man. Another good season in the books for the Blues. So I can't complain, man. Cornelius, how about you?
I'm great. It's been a great weekend. It's been a great Super Sunday. We're going to get into it. We're definitely going to get into it. But before we get over to our European talk, let's talk the MLS, man. The Columbus Crew played earlier this weekend, suffered a tough defeat to Charlotte 3-2. It was very interesting match. We talked about Zaha a few weeks ago and how, when Charlotte seems to lose, he kind of becomes the scapegoat, but when Charlotte seems to win, they don't really hype him up. Um, this was a big win for Charlotte. Columbus has been dropping in the Eastern rankings for the last couple of weeks. So, Mike, going to obviously pass it to
Mm-hmm.
you. Got to talk about the hometown team. What's going on with
Yeah,
Columbus? In their last four matches, three draws and now a loss.
yeah, yeah. I think as the season goes on, you could clearly see where we're missing um, some help. We need help for Rossi. I think our attack right now we're not very threatening. We do have some players that are very good at build up play and at least setting chances. We're not clinical enough. I know Russell Rowe. He's been kind of like the I don't want to say scapegoat because nobody's really blaming him, but the hope was that he could step in this season and take care of those responsibilities in terms of the striker position. But I don't think it's going the way we all thought it would go. But to me, I think this game came down to our defense. Defensively, we weren't very good. I mean, what is the striker? Is it Ajimang? Ajimang?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jamal.
Yeah,
Ajimon.
Ajimang, the striker for Charlotte. He was a problem. I
Hmm.
mean, we were having a hard time defending him, and you got to give him his credit. He's been great for Charlotte this season, and we struggled against him. He's too strong, too powerful for us. And Zaha, man, Zaha showed his class this game. I mean, one pass just broke through the midfielder and the center back. Just broke through one pass, broke both lines. You know, and that's the quality. That's the quality somebody like Zaha brings to the Charlotte team. But that's a team we need to keep our eyes on because I feel like we've talked about them all season. We've given them their credit. We see the potential they have, and as the season goes on, they seem to be getting stronger. They seem to be more believing that okay, they deserve to be here. They can compete with all the top teams in the league. So, hey, man, you got to give them their credit. This was a good win for them. This was a good performance. We just didn't play well. Columbus did not play well last night. Even the two goals we got, yeah, I'll take it because the first goal was beautiful, but the second goal, obviously we were just trying to come back. But right when we came back, we let another one in, and that's kind of been our issue, trying to hold on, to leads. But it is what it is. I still don't think this will hurt us very much. I mean, it's still early in the season. We still have a long way to go to build ourselves and put ourselves in the right position before the playoffs. But shout out to Charlotte, man. This was a good win for them. This is a good win for them.
Yeah, it was a huge win for them, man. Especially, I think that they just snapped like a 5 game like losing streak, honestly. So for them to get this dub, against a very good Columbus Crew side, I think is
Mhm.
massive for them, man. I don't know, man. I don't really know much about the Charlotte fan base, but I think also I don't think that people understand really what they have in Wilfred Zaha. This guy
Mhm.
is one of the at his peak at one point was,
Mhm.
I would say, one of the best 1v1 players in Europe.
Mhm.
And the pass that he had to Ajumong, I just saw it. The pass that he had to Ajumong on the goal was, like you
Yeah.
said, shows his class. So this is a massive win for them, and hopefully you guys can find a solution, man. Because you got, I don't know, I felt like you guys have been kind of low key slipping the past few weeks, and
Absolutely.
and this week you guys, came up against a team that really made you guys pay.
Mhm.
No, I agree. Like I said, I mean, I talked about Ajamang earlier in the season. He's one to look out for. Strong, like you said, Mike.
Mhm.
Pacey. He could finish too. He's a very
Yeah.
good finisher. 2 goals in the span of 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So it's like you have to watch out for him. He's definitely a threat.
Mhm.
But yeah, we'll see what's going on with Columbus. But going down at 71 South, Cincinnati, currently playing right now against Atlanta United. Scores 3-2, Atlanta. Atlanta
Oh
started off,
wow.
first half 2-0 up within 5 minutes. I think within 3 minutes of the second half starting, Cincinnati scores, then 3-1. Atlanta scored again, and now 3-2 Cincinnati. So I know that game's going on right
Wow.
now, but what do you think? What do you think the ultimate score will be? Do you have any ideas of how this game might end up, so long?
No, I mean, based off the stats, you would assume that we would get at least the equalizer. I mean, I just saw a stat, and I don't know if this is wrong or not, but I mean, we have 23 shots in this game. I
Hmm.
know, like, going into halftime, I think that we had 10 shots, I think, to their two. So
Mhm.
when I see those stats, bro, I'm not really surprised, man, because I think our problem is that we play well, we create these chances, but we just can't. We're not as clinical as I feel like we could be with the caliber of players that we have, especially in those attacking areas, in that 10 role and in that 9 role. But no, I mean, I think that this, and going into this game, I thought that this was going to be a trap game for us. Atlanta, I would say, hasn't had the start that we thought that they were going to have going into this
Mhm.
season, but they stayed afloat. And I don't know, man, going into Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I had a feeling like, you know what, we've been on a hot streak. We kind of, that draw to Columbus Crew kind of um really let, I guess, the steam out that we had and the momentum that we had going. And now here we are down 3-2 to Atlanta, away from home, playing well, dominating the stats, but you know, still are down in the game. But I think when it's all said and done, we'll get at least the equalizer and get the point.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Mike, you got anything to say that's different, or you hope Atlanta get the
Um,
win?
I think Cincinnati's been solid. It's pretty early in the season to be worried about some of these results. But like you said, it looks like they were on a what 5 game win streak or something like that, 5 game
Yeah,
unbeaten streak, and then they played the Crew. These things happen. It definitely threw them off. The 1-1 draw against the Crew. I definitely think it did, but I still think it's early in the season where they still have a lot of games left that they can regain that momentum back. So Cincinnati looks like they will be fine. Yeah.
That's definitely fair.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked about our Ohio teams, but another game I wanted to talk about, Inter Miami. They played Philadelphia 3-3 yesterday.
yeah.
We talked about Inter Miami last week. They've been going through some troubles, haven't been able to, find their footing in the league and really take hold based on,
Mm-hmm.
them having Messi, the Barcelona boys over there. But this Philadelphia team, we've also been talking about how good they are. And so Inter Miami 3-3 was able to hold. Um, does this show, signs of improvement? Do you think this is a step in the right? I mean, it's clearly a step in the right direction, but do you think this
Mm-hmm.
more has to say about Philadelphia or Miami?
Um, I think you could get something from both because seems like Miami can't get a win at this time. I don't know what's going on with them. So them fighting back, to tie the game, there's some resilience there. Shows that they're working hard at it. They know that things are not going the way they want it to go. But then on Philly's end too, I feel like this probably is another game, kind of like the Crew game where they had the lead and let it slip. Same with even the playing LA Galaxy. It was back and forth, but they don't seem to be, finishing games the way they should be. But I think both teams can take, a moral victory, quote unquote, from this game. For Miami, yes, you didn't win the game, but hey, you were down 3-1, and you fought and came back. And for Philly, this is a very good team that you will probably see again down the line. So I think both teams can walk away with their held high.
No, I agree. I think Miami definitely needed this point. And
Hmm.
yes, it's just a point, but like you said, Mike, for you to be going through this rut and then for you to come back from being down 2 goals and ultimately get the equalizing goal, I think is a big confidence booster.
Yeah,
And I think I think we talked about this Philly team, man, a lot. Like this is one of the top teams in the East, and that the table doesn't lie. They are where they are
yeah,
for a reason. And but I don't know. This little skid that Miami's on, I'm curious to see what really is the cause of it. Like what's going on. I know that
yeah.
like Messi's been in and out of the lineup, not just him, but just everybody. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, man, we definitely need the league needs them to be firing like they were the past 2
Absolutely.
seasons. So hopefully they can figure it out soon. But shout out to that Philly team, man. And what's his name? Not
Tyberibo.
Yeah, Tyberibo, Quinn Sullivan, I think is that his
Yeah,
brother? Kevin
yeah, that's
Sullivan's
his
brother.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
sick,
like
man.
it's
You got
like four of the Sullivans. They all play for Philly.
That's what I thought. I know 2 of them. There's the younger one, Kevin, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then there's I know Quinn.
Hmm.
I
Right,
think there's
right.
one or two more.
I think there's one more that's in the mix. I don't know about the other one, but
Mm,
no, the Quinn Sullivan just got his first national team call up. So
Really?
that's gonna be
Oh
huge for
wow.
him. He's gonna be going to the I don't know if he's going to the Gold Cup. He got called up into the training camp. So
Okay.
um yeah, I mean there's a few guys on that list that I'm curious to see what they do with this opportunity. Another guy to kind of pivot away, Vancouver actually came back and I think that they were down. I think they were playing Real Salt Lake
hmm.
and they were down and ended up coming back winning the game.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow.
their star striker Brian White just got called up to the national team as well too. So hopefully he can bring that
Okay.
experience to a much needed team that needs experience and
Hmm.
can kind of give them something going forward.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually talked about that because I didn't see or I saw the end of the Real Salt Lake game. And what I will say, Diego Luna is a player, man, but he needs help over there on Salt Lake.
I
I mean, every
agree.
every game I watch, he's doing something. He's either adding a goal, he's adding an assist, he's being very, very active and creative in the attacking third, but he needs help. He
Yeah.
definitely needs help.
Yeah. If they don't get him help, somebody will come take him,
Yeah,
or
Hmm.
he's gonna
100%.
leave. I definitely agree with you. He needs help
Yeah,
because
Yeah,
it's so
goal
glaring.
like goal and assist, and they still end up
Yeah.
losing 3-2 on a 90-minute winner. So it's one of
Hmm.
those, bro. Like he
Hmm.
needs help. But Diego Luna, I believe he got called up as well. Um,
yeah,
he's big. He's going to be a very, very big player for the U.S. team. I think he has something that the U.S. team has been missing.
Hmm.
He's just a little firecracker, bro. He's always active. Like he's very, very good, and in the attacking third, he can make stuff happen. So just want to say shout out to him. But Salt Lake, get my man some help. Get my man
Hmm.
yeah.
some help. Yeah, man. Enough about the MLS. Let's move over to some European football, man. The Premier League just came to an
Hmm.
end. But before that, we had a cup final, eh? I believe this was a Europa League cup final.
Hmm.
It was so ugly.
Hey, sound the bell.
That match was so ugly, bro. I'm not
Mm,
gonna lie. It just felt like a Premier League match, and
it
Oh
did.
for
shit. My
whatever
bad.
for whatever reason, for whatever reason, you know, a lot of my friends who support Manchester United, they hit me on the side like Newcastle Newcastle got their first trophy. Crystal Palace got their first trophy.
Hmm.
I think Spurs is about to get their first trophy. And I honestly looked at them like, mm, are you sure, bro? Because this is still Spurs we're talking about. And with my coaches, I watched the match. I watched the match with my two coaches, Gerard.
Hmm.
Well, shout out Gerard, shout out Andy, shout out EJ, three coaches. But one of them supports Manchester United. Shout out Gerard, and one of the coaches that I coach with supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Shout out Andy. And after the goal was scored, Gerard looked at me. He said, "That's the winner." And I'm like, "No way is that the winner, bro. You guys are gonna get one back. You guys are definitely gonna get one back." And they did not get the goal back. And shout out to the Tottenham Hotspurs. We were saying it all, not saying it all year, but 2025 it seems to be the year the curse was lifted. Harry Kane got his trophy. Crystal Palace, like we
Yeah.
said earlier, Tottenham Hotspur got a European trophy before their crosstown rivals Arsenal. It's one of those things where it's kind of crazy sitting in real time and like witnessing history. It's one of those things where you kind of just will look back and be like, dang, this actually was a crazy year. Like a lot happened. Especially for the way that Tottenham was in a Champions League final. Playing another English club, Liverpool, and they lost. In a pretty bad fashion there, 2-0, and then for them to come back another European final, another English team, you kind of saw the similarities. You kind of saw how it was a nervy game. It was sloppy. It wasn't the best, but at the end of the day, shout out Brennan Johnson. Sometimes you just have to get the ball across the line, and that's what he was able to do. But Salam, the floor is yours, brother, because it was a snippet. You said you were very, very, very
Yeah,
comfortable.
I
You
know
said it
this.
was favorable. So now we need to hear the other end.
Yeah, no, and I just want to say I'm very appreciative of all the engagement that we've gotten. A lot of people seem to go back to those videos and comment. So, I'm very appreciative of all the engagement. Um, and I'm not gonna shout out your friend Andy. I will shout out Gerard, and Rajad, um, and Carrie as well too. But before I get to United, man, I just wanted to really give credit to Spurs, man. I really do, no lie. I've been very critical of Ange Postecoglou, and his stubbornness in terms of playing the way that he wants to play. You know, and when we got to that Europa League final, I really thought that we were, he was going to approach the game the way he does in the Premier League, but he showed his class and he completely went against that. He let us have the ball. And that's really where we shot ourselves in the foot because he knew, hey, if you let them have the ball, and if you just have them try and break us down, they're not going to be able to do that. And that jammy goal that they got in the 20 odd whatever third minute that was ended up being the winner. But shout out to them, man. Definitely, they deserve it. There's a lot of players. Obviously, I was not happy to have lost, but there was some people on that team that I was very happy to see that lift that trophy. He was one of them. Postacoglu, Son, Jed Spence, Basuma. So yeah, man. Shout out to them. In regards to United, I you know, I I shouldn't say I'm not surprised, but I just want to start here. the manager. Now that the season is over, we can have this conversation.
Let's talk about it, please. Please, let's talk about it.
I'm not.
Please.
I'm gonna get to the players here in a second, but at the end of the day, the manager is the one that the picks the team. And as you guys probably saw, Garnacho came out right after the game and expressed how he felt about, I guess, being left on the bench. He said essentially, this wasn't his direct quotes, but essentially he said, "The season has been a very poor season. I've played almost every minute leading up to this point, and in the final, I come and I only played 20 minutes." Now, regardless of not if you think he's a good player or not, that's one thing. But I feel him in the sense of I'm part of the reason why we're even here. And for you to play someone like Luke Shaw, someone who completely just has been out of the picture all season and looked like it when he got to a final, because this guy only shows up for the big moments for us. Part of the reason why he wasn't even available for the large majority of the first part of the season was because if you guys remember, he played for England over the summer, got hurt, and he shouldn't have even went to that trip in the first place. But Southgate liked him, so it is what it is. But no, I didn't like the lineup. I didn't like the selection of certain players. Luke Shaw being one of them. I think between him and Onana, that confusion is essentially what got us in trouble in the first place. Yes, Bruno is the person who turned over the ball that led to that transition, but I don't know, man. When you have someone in there who hasn't played over, I would say, damn near 70% of the season, and then you have one of the worst keepers in Europe back there as well too. It's going to lead to something like that happening. So that was very unfortunate, man, because this win could have really signaled, you know, um, a fresh start for us in the sense of Spurs got 100 and some million. I didn't even realize how much you got from just finishing in the Champions League. I didn't realize it was 100 plus. They got 100 plus.
Bro,
They got
Mhm.
Arsenal, we got over 100 mil just for making it to the semis in the Champions League, bro. There's a
yeah,
lot of money. But I'm just saying,
Mhm.
even if you win a cup, bro, there's a lot of money that comes with it. That's why there's so much stock
right.
into these cups.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
but it's not 100 million, bro. That's like that's crazy. But nonetheless,
That's a top tier signing.
yeah.
That's a cool.
Mhm.
Or
We'll speak about it later, but yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's a few if you do your business right, that's a few good players. But
Yeah.
no, I think that it's unfortunate because this really could have kind of expedited this, not expedited, but it would have given the manager more of a platform to get more players that he would need to rebuild the squad. And unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. And Bruno, I felt like this second part of the season has been our best player. Nowhere to be seen in that final. Completely terrible. Left Casemiro out on an island. I thought Casemiro actually had a good game, but
Mhm.
um, I don't know, man. We shot ourselves in the foot once again. The only difference this time was we didn't get bailed out like we did in Leon. And now you even look at that game and you just even think like, for what? That all that stuff that happened in Leon, the two legs over versus Bilbao, all for nothing.
Mhm.
And it's very unfortunate, man, because like I said, this really could have given the manager the platform and the financial resources to really rebuild this team. And now the reports are already coming out saying that we're already tight on money. So and we haven't really shown that we can be
We don't need the reports. Y'all
swift.
CEO, y'all owner, Mr. Ratcliffe
Yeah,
he did a whole interview. Like he sat down and
no,
said, "Well, bro,
100%. No,
Mhm.
100%. And like it's I even give him credit for doing that because that's more than the Glazers have ever done in, what I'm saying, in however long that they've been here. But no, man, it's very it's tough. I called Mike after I was talking to Mike after the game, and I was telling Mike, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. There was no like scenario that I thought of like, oh, we're gonna lose this. Like every scenario that I thought was like, we're either gonna smash them the way we played Bilbao, we're either gonna come back like we did against Lyon, or it's just gonna be like Man City, how we beat them 1-0. but I did not for a second see us losing. And now, we're forever going to be tied with Spurs in history of giving them their first Europa League. Yeah, man.
So what are your expectations, for next season? Because you're gonna be playing in
Well,
only
wait,
domestic
wait, wait.
competitions.
Before we even get to next season,
Mhm.
because that's a couple months.
You're right.
Where do you stand? Because I've made my thoughts very clear about Emerin over these
Right.
past couple weeks. Where do you stand with the manager? That's where I want to
Yeah.
start. And Mike, we'll get to yours 100%. But where do you stand with the manager? Because for those who don't know, if this is your first episode,
Mhm.
I've been looking at Emerin crazy for the past 2-3 months.
Right.
Just you tell me if I'm lying. That's how I've been. And I with the lineups, with everything that he's been doing, I know he's going to have a big overhaul in the summer, but just with the decisions that he's been making over the past, month, 2 months, it's been very, very questionable for me. And I just want to know, like, before we even get to next season, where do you stand with the manager, and what do you, yeah, just where do you stand?
I just want to start by saying I back the manager 100%. 100% I back him. I think with that being said, though, I still see potential issues or potential yellow flags when it comes to you, though. The one thing being the way you manage games sometimes is not up to my liking. Because I understand that you have this philosophy, but the one thing that I'm completely turned off on right now from any manager, not just him, is this idea of like, this is my way, this is the way that we're playing, and this is the only way that we're playing. Because what's going to happen is you're going to come up against a team who just for whatever reason your style of play is not that just doesn't work against them, and you have to be adaptable, you have to be able to adapt. The only reason why we lost that final yesterday was Postecoglou went from the way that he was playing all throughout the Premier League season, and he threw all that away in the final and said, you know what, based off of the weaknesses of your team, I know that if I just allow you to have the ball, you won't be able to break us down because you guys don't know how to play football. So for me, in terms of and Latilat just sank FC Cincinnati. So that's that. It's not even Latilat. Shout out to number 14. Um, but not yeah, man. I think but not Gabriel. All jokes aside, I think I want to see the way that he's able to manage situations next year. I want you to have your players, because the one thing that I can acknowledge is I think it's a very tough position for you to take over Ten Hag, which we were in a bad position there. I know that the season has gone completely south since that has happened, but you took over in a situation that wasn't the best. You didn't have the players that really suited your system. Um, so I'm curious to see what you're able to do now with the players that you bring in. You are well, and when I say you, I'm talking to the manager here.
Yeah.
Now you fully understand the scope of the situation that we're in. You know that financially we don't have the best money. So I want to see how savvy you are in the transfer market. Bring in the players that you want to get, and then we'll talk around January. I want to give him a year though. But I think that if you can't show me that you can be adaptable in games, if you can't show me that you can't manage a dressing room, because I don't know, like that's also an issue too. Garnacho, I think he always talks about culture. So for Garnacho to say what he said right after the game, it's like we just had
Says
our
a
worst
lot.
season. Yeah, and you're making it about you. The one thing that I appreciate about Amarim is like I'm getting that out. Whether or not you like Rashford or not, he thought that he was going to hurt the culture of the team. He got him out. And not just him, but everybody. Anybody that he thought that was going to hurt, you know what I'm saying? The culture, he got out. So I want to see. Let me see what your guys look like. But best believe we're we're not in Europe. We're not in any crazy preseason little situation. We're not in the Club World Cup. We're gonna come to America in July. I need to see like an identity. Like when we step onto that field, game one, I need to see an identity. The same way where I can look at Arteta's team or even Maresca's team, Pep's team, and say, okay, I have an idea of what they want to do. I need to be able to see that. And if I can't, hey man, you're gonna. We've cut a lot of managers that have had way more experience and have won more way than you.
So okay, sorry. One more question. I would say we all know this team needs open heart surgery, a new full 11. If
Shout out
we're being
Ragnick.
honest, yeah, shout out Ragnick. We know this team needs, a miracle and a prayer. But for you, what are the 3 positions?
Oh, 3.
Just give me 3. I know, but just give me 3 positions that you want to see upgraded in this transfer window, at least. If you were to get 3 players in, not specific players, but just positionally, three positions that you want to get in, who would they be? I'm very curious to know.
First and foremost, I need to see a goalkeeper. I need to see a goalkeeper that I can trust, 100%. And one thing that I know for a fact is I don't trust Bayindir either. Every time Bayindir has came in and everyone has said, "Oh, we don't like Onana, let's try Bayindir." He comes in, he shows you why he shouldn't play for us either. So I would like to see a keeper. I would like to see a progressive ball playing midfielder because we don't have that at all. So a center midfielder, and I need to see a striker. I need a reliable. This guy is going to get me goals. And right now, it's not Rasmus Højlund, and I don't know. We're linked to Delap. I don't think that he's the answer either. I don't think that he's not what we need. We need someone who's going to come in.
I mean, that's his level.
goals.
That's his level.
Well, you guys are in for him too, so I guess that's your level. That's you guys.
Y'all gotta have him, little bro.
Oh,
We
okay.
good.
I mean, y'all taking Sancho, right?
We got bigger and better to worry about,
No, yeah. But those are the 3 positions, Gabriel: a keeper, a center mid, and a striker.
That's that. Listen, we always talk about the spine, so I get it. No, 100%. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really want to talk much about that match, but this Tottenham team, how do we feel about this Tottenham team potentially playing Champions League football, and what upgrades do you think that they need to plug into their squad so that they can actually be a formidable team next year? Because outside of Europe, in the league, they didn't do well either, and I know they had a lot of injuries. We always talk about depth, especially now that they're in another competition. They're going to need to rotate more. But what does this Tottenham team need to compete?
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, this Spurs team, yes, given what they're 16th on the table, right? They're 16th or 17th on the table. I forgot exactly which one, but they're up there with goals for. They're up there with the top 4, top 2, top 3. It's really about their back line, and I know they've been hurt. Romero's been out. Van der Beek's been out. Not Van der Beek. I'm sorry. Van der Ven.
Hey, shout out Van der Beek.
I'm sorry. Shout out Donnie. I'm sorry.
Free Donnie.
Free Donnie. Yeah, Van der Ven's been out. Udogi's been out for some time, so they've had a rough go at their back line, but I think it really comes down to their back 5. Their back 5, if they can figure that out, offensively they're fine. You want to talk as much as we want to talk, they're up there with the top goals, top 5, top 4 in goals, 4 right now. They're just also, they get scored on as much as they score, which is the issue. And I think that, if they're able to, just have some reinforcements in those areas, I think this team could easily transition 10 spots without a doubt. But they need reinforcements in the back line. That's like the opposite of us, right? Where they don't need reinforcements. We're fine. I feel solidified in our back line, but I don't feel solidified in our top 5, our front 5, our front 3. And I feel like, their front 3, their front 5, they're fine right now, but they need to get reinforcements for their back line. And I feel like once they do that, they can actually potentially be a decent side, maybe potentially, fighting for a European. Well, I mean, they're in Europe, but in those top 4, top 5 spots. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, like I said this earlier, Kane broke the curse, and once he broke the curse, the floodgates opened, and yeah, I don't know.
No, so yeah, they definitely have a good starting point. Like Gabriel said, I think that they're fine in attack, but if you could bring in another center back, maybe another solid defensive midfielder, I think they're fine because they've shown that they can score goals. They just can't, keep goals from
No, I think that
coming
was
in.
yeah, that was a great point. That was a great point. I was just curious. I kind of wanted to see what you guys thought about that Tottenham team since they will be playing Champions League football next year. But there's a lot to happen in the summer. Speaking of summer, we got some transfers already buzzing. We've heard some teams already announce. We know that players are in heavy talks currently. But I do want to start with Mateus Cunha, Wolves player. It seems like Cunha to Manchester United is almost a done deal.
Oh, it's done.
Oh, is it officially done?
Yeah, he's
It's
going.
here we go.
All right, so
HWG.
Cunha to the Red Devils. Salam, how you feel about it?
I think it's good. I think it's a good signing for us. I think he's what we need in terms of someone who can play in that 10 role, someone who's going to provide us with goals and assists. And I think more than anything, I think he's just going to bring a little bit of personality. One thing that I don't see with this team is an identity at all, but I think he brings a lot of character to this team. And I think that's what we need, man. We have a very weak-minded team, man. We have a very weak culture here, and we need guys that have something different so that we can really build something. But no, I think that he's going to be really good for us, and I wouldn't be surprised next year if he's in our top 3 in like goals and assists, because he's gonna score goals, he's gonna create goals, and like I said a few weeks ago, like behind Rafinha, he's one person, one of many people in Europe that I'm looking at this year and saying, wow, you've really kind of reinvented yourself as a player. From where I saw you a few years ago to where you are now, I think you've improved a lot. So yeah, hopefully he can bring that energy and momentum here because we surely need it.
All right.
Definitely makes sense. Florian Wirtz also looks like he will be coming potentially to the Premier League. I know Man City is in heavy talks with him. I'm not sure if that's official either. But
Liverpool.
Yeah.
what do we think about Florian Wirtz, coming to the Prem?
I ain't gonna lie. I'll be very quick. If he goes to Liverpool, issues for the entire league, major issues. Gravenberch, Sloboslai, McAllister, and Wirtz, issues.
Yeah.
Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott, issues. That's all I gotta say. Issues.
Yeah, I think if Liverpool is able to close this deal, it'll be very good. Well, it'll be a very good transfer for them. I mean, this is them pretty much building to get ready for Salah going, and I feel like they're taking the right steps. Last summer, we saw them not bring anybody in, and it seems like this summer they're going to make some, very, how do I want to say, notable or momentous signings that will can change, their future going forward. And Wirtz is one of them. You bring him, you add him to the wealth of midfielders they already have. Hey, this might be the changing of the guard for real. It didn't go from City to Arsenal. It looks like it's going from City to Liverpool. But we'll see what happens, man. But if he really goes to Liverpool, like Gabriel said, man, it could be one of those.
Where do you see him playing? Do you see him playing behind the striker?
Yes, the 10. What?
Yeah,
He's playing
the 10,
directly behind the striker, and this is
So someone's in the bench then. So who's in the bench?
Yeah, I personally think If really, I
Sobo. See you, Sobo.
It'll be Shobo, but I think they could put I think McAllister would.
I think
I
there'll be enough
personally
games to
think
go around. They
it'll be
won't have
enough.
to worry.
It'll be enough matches, but I personally think I truly think when it comes down to it, it'll be Sloboslai, McAllister, Verts.
No
Sloboslai as
Gravenberch?
the pure,
Really?
and then no, and I know it sounds crazy, but bro, I think Soboslai's ability to score goals kind of at will and in clutch moments is gonna elevate him to that six role because he's gonna run the six and also, bro, he'll score a banger in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
He will, and you can't teach that. Gravenberch doesn't really have that in his bag, you know. And as much as I love Gravenberch, I think he's an amazing player. But I think when it comes down to it, Sloboslai, McAllister, you got to think about it. All three of those midfielders can
Mm-hmm.
score goals at will.
Who's
McAllister,
defending?
Sloboslai. What do you mean?
Oh.
You don't think he's a come on. Come
Nah,
on, come on. Let's not come
I
on.
think McAllister might be the odd guy out, really, if Verts
Okay.
comes in. I think McAllister could be the one because what Gravenberch does for them, I don't think Soboslai can do, to be honest. So I think I would rather keep Soboslai, Gravenberch, and Verts on the field and kind of bring in McAllister.
I think it's better with Gravenberch, but I think at the end of the day he's gonna go Sloboslai. Just because of
I think we're all being nice. You know what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen is Darwin is gonna hit the bench, and then one of those guys could play out wide. First could play out wide, Sobo could go play out wide. Salah's gonna go up top.
Yeah, they'll slide Verts to
they
the
could
outside.
they could also they could also fit off they could also have all those guys on the pitch at the same time. So it'll be like I'm saying, Liverpool winning the league this year, they have a lot to play with, and they're gonna have people, anyone that they call will say yes. I firmly believe that anyone who they call will be on board with the mission and what they're going for. So as I said, it's gonna be dangerous.
Mike, let me
No,
ask you
that's
this.
Yeah.
So another guy that's linked with Liverpool, Jeremy Frimpong. What do you think he brings to this Liverpool team?
I think he pretty much fills in the gap Trent left. But his crossing is not as good as Trent, but his defending is pretty similar to what Trent has been given Liverpool. He also adds some pace to that side of the field, but overall, I think it's a pretty decent signing because if you think about Liverpool as a team, their strongest in their back line is really the two guys in the middle, Virgil and Konate. That's their biggest strength. Those guys do so well that the guys on the outside have a little bit more of a leeway, because the two guys in the middle do an exceptional job of covering pretty much the whole back line. So I think it's a very good signing for them. You don't miss much, but you're adding similar quality to the team, and I think he will pretty much give them what Trent was giving them. That's what I think. Yeah,
That's fair. That's kind of what I said last week. I feel the same thing about Frimpong. I said defending could be, it's a toss up,
yeah.
but we know Trent was better offensively, but I think the pace that he has and his just ability to play in the spaces too. It'll be good for them. So we heard about Ten Hag getting the Leverkusen job. Speaking of Jeremy Frimpong, how do we? Salam, I'm gonna pass this one to you. How do you feel about your previous manager now picking up the appointment over there in Germany?
I love it. Definitely one of my favorite United managers, I would say, in the past. The past ones that we've had. I mean, you guys knew I rode for Ten Hag, man. 100%. That was my guy.
How many hogs is this?
Right now, I'm at 10. I'm at 10 right now because we haven't kicked off. No games have been played. Right now, I'm at 10. No, but I think, in all seriousness, I think it's a good move for him. he got. I think a lot of people forget that he is actually a good manager. I think him coming to United has obviously changed people's perception about him, but like, don't get it twisted. This guy is actually he's a good manager, and he's shown that with Ajax, and so I think it's going to be tough for him because it seems as if this Leverkusen team is getting torn apart already. I mean, between Jonathan Todd is going to Bayern. Frempong looks like he's going to Liverpool. Verts looks like he's going to Liverpool. And I think Liverpool's actually after the left back too, Kirkes.
Yeah, for Bournemouth.
Because yeah, is it? Oh, okay, from Bournemouth, not him,
Yeah.
not him.
No.
Okay. I was about to say because Kirkes is from where's
Hungary.
Soboslai from? Hungary. Yeah, they're from
Yeah.
the same country. So, but no, I mean he's gonna have to get creative because obviously this team is gonna get torn apart. So, I'm curious to see who stays with this team. But man, the duo I never thought I needed, Boniface and Eric Ten Hag. You know, here we are. So, yeah, they're definitely going to be rooting for them in the Bundesliga next year, man. Shout out my manager, Ten Hag.
Cool, man. Yeah, and then Reinders as well. I heard he was potentially looking at a big move.
Man City, yeah. And you know, the reason why I brought it up was because you know, typically when Man City is in talks with you, they're gonna sign you. You know, there is no really a back and forth. I think that they're very serious. But to be very honest with you, I haven't really watched a lot of AC Milan games, so I really don't know much about him and what he's gonna bring. But I know Man City is gonna really invest to kind of rebuild this post KDB era. So I don't know if you guys really know much about him and what he's done for Milan, but I mean, City really don't miss on signings like this.
No, he's a good midfielder. I would say he's more of a prototype. He can gotta do it all, switchblade type. But yeah, man, you know, as far as transfers, like Salam said, we have a few months until they actually kick into gear. But the table in the Premier League has officially been set. Liverpool obviously won the league about a month ago. They are just, you know, continuing their victory lap. Arsenal finishes the season on 74 points. Manchester City finishes in third place with 71 points. Chelsea Football Club finishes in fourth place with 69 points. And then Newcastle getting that fifth spot, the last Champions League spot for the Premier League, 66 points. Aston Villa falls right outside the Champions League spot, also with 66 points.
Shout out Villa, man.
Nottingham Forest will be in the Europa League. We'll keep that seat warm for you. 65
conference.
I apologize. Conference League.
It's not bad for them.
Yeah, man. Let's. It's not bad for them, but let's talk about it because ain't nobody here besides Mike and I. No one thought we were going to win today. Let's just start there. Let's start about the top four.
Hey.
No one cares.
Liverpool, Arsenal, City, and Chelsea. No, I know nobody cares. I know nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
I know nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
I know nobody cares.
We
Listen. Whoa.
I was on confidently 3 weeks ago, and I said I see 12 points out of our last 4 matches.
And he was up just one game.
So you didn't get it. You didn't get it though.
No.
So you didn't get it.
He was up one game.
Okay, you're off one game, Mike. That's 9 points.
But this is the thing. Listen.
That was the point. That was the point he argued.
You guys. Go ahead.
Nobody cares, right? I know nobody cares because 4 weeks ago when I said that we can beat all of these teams, I was laughed at. Then after the Newcastle match, when we lost because of the circumstances of those 90 minutes, everyone came in here and said, "Oh, the league is done." And then after we beat United, they said, "Oh, well, United is worried about Europa League." They said everybody. So now we're going in.
Yeah, you said all these things. Yeah, you. No one else said these things but you.
No. Go ahead.
So now we come into the last match of the. So now we come to the last match of the final, and certain men on this podcast said they don't see Chelsea getting the top 5. right? Not even in the top 5, because that was too much for us to go into Nottingham Forest, a team that I've been saying for the last 4 weeks is on a slump. This team is not great. In their last 4 home matches, they have not gotten a win. So I displayed all of the facts on the table, and I gave my bias as a Chelsea fan, and I said, if you look at our last 5 versus their last 5, I feel confident. If you look at their home record versus our away record, I feel confident. And no one expected, everyone expected Newcastle to go win. Thank you for doing your job. Everybody expected Aston Villa to go forward. Thank them for doing their job. I came on here, and again, we can leave the Newcastle match off the table because the cookie crumbled the way it was supposed to. And you know what was sweet today? They panned to Nicholas Jackson, who looked upset the entire time, because I think in his heart of hearts, he knew that we were going to win today. The entire match, they were panning to him, and he never smiled once. And I think he understands that he really almost took this away from us. And you know, as he's still a Chelsea player, so I respect that. But I think he truly, truly understood today that he almost took this moment of just pure celebration and elation from the boys, all because he wanted to because he thought the game was more than himself. And what I will say about this Chelsea team before I give it to Mike is that they finally have arrived. You know, 2021, we won the Champions League, and then, you know, Roman was asked to sell the club, right? Since that,
break it down for them, man. Some of them forgot what happened.
Since 2021, we had a whole 2022 season of tumultuous up and down. We don't know if we have an owner. We don't know where the money's coming from. We don't know if we can get paid. Players left. Players left on their own. Players were kicked out. 2022, we spent $1 billion. 2023, we spent $1 billion. Nothing seems to change. 2024, we somehow
casually.
2024,
you just spent $2 billion. You just spent $2 billion,
and nothing seems to change, right? No, but look, I can tell you the facts, or I can try to sugarcoat things. It doesn't matter because we're here now, right? 2024, okay, we get top. You know, we get to go to a European berth. We get our top 6. We lose to United in the FA Cup, so we don't get that Europa League spot. But you know, that's okay. All of those baby steps built us to where we are today. And for the majority of this Chelsea team, this is the first time they've ever had to play a game that meant this much. You know, last week I said it. This is a final. We have 2 finals left. We got Nottingham Forest, and then we have Betis. This was the first final, and I'm glad that Maresca was able to get the boys up to understand the importance of this match. And now we're back, right? So, Gabriel, I'll see you in Champions League next year. Mike, the floor is yours.
All this to lose in Conference League final, but go ahead.
No, it's just funny to me, you know, after all this hoopla, after all this hype talk, you know, race talk, Chelsea's only 5 points away from Arsenal. Anyways, you know, I mean, we can't go to Forest. Then, you know, hey, we're only going to get 4 points out of the next 5. You know, it's like some of these new teams that have been here 24 hours were taken more seriously than us, and it was just blowing my mind. Like all of a sudden, Forest is a big team now. Like I've been saying it all year. I personally think Forest is going to drop. I've been saying it all year. It got to a point where I started to doubt it because I was like, oh, damn, they're still here. But I knew, and by the way, I wanted to, you know, remind you guys, the beginning of the season, I said we're going to make top 4. And here we are today. At the end of the season, we're top 4. I just think everybody just forgot what happened. We didn't just become shit. Guys, always have some context. We didn't just become shit. The team went through something, and it's taken some time to be back. Arsenal, this is for you, actually. This is for you guys. I'm telling you right now, just be ready. Don't let us win on Wednesday. Chelsea would have won, gone through a slump, and been back and won a trophy before Arsenal Football Club in their prime years of Arteta's era. You know, Like, anyways, I don't want to even really make this about Arsenal Chelsea, but I just want to let people know that we're back. You know, we're actually fucking back.
You're not back at all. You're not back at all. What are you talking about? No, you're not. You're not back at all.
We're back in the Champions League. Are we not back in the Champions League? Are we not back in the Champions League?
No. There's a difference between his back and you're saying you're back. You're saying you're back.
I'm saying we are
officially
back
in
Europe's highest competition. Are we not, Salam?
Okay.
Are we not back in
when
Europe's
he's saying
highest
he was back.
competition?
No. Salam, break it down. Break it down.
No, I know, but Cornelius, you're saying, oh, we're back in the Champions League, right? You're back in the top four. You're back in the Champions League. Yes,
we're back in the top four. We're back in the
Champions League.
No. We are one of the four best clubs in the English Premier League.
Listen. I know what you're saying. I'm telling you what Mike is saying, and what Mike is saying is that you're back.
Oh yeah. We're back. Back.
Yeah, you're back.
Back.
And
I'm saying
and you know
right
what?
now.
I have to agree with Mike because you know it. Actually, you know what? Let me take that back. This is where I am not going to fully agree with Mike because Chelsea Football Club.
Okay.
Chelsea Football Club isn't back until this group of individuals wins a trophy together. Again, we can go do it on Wednesday, and Gabriel, you can make all the faces you want, but at the end of the day, the last 2 decades of our club was built on what have you done for me lately? Roman Abramovich fired Jose Mourinho twice because it has always been what have you done for me lately? So I know we have a new regime, I know we have new ownership, but the identity of this club, from what I've grown to love, is that you guys have to end up finishing the job, and that means get silverware. I said this last week. Over the last 4 years, we've been in multiple finals. We've gone to a Europa League final.
Yeah.
We've gone to FA Cup. We've gone to Carabao. We've lost to Liverpool. We've lost to United. We've lost to Leicester. We've lost to a lot of teams in finals. And so, again, it's what have you done for me lately? Frank was not able to get it done. He left. Graham Potter was not able to get it done. He left. Pochettino was not able to get it done. He left. So now we have Enzo Maresca. What can you show me, fam? Wednesday, you have a chance to go and top four and win a trophy in your first year. Please show me that you want this job. Please show me that you understand what this means. Please show me that you understand that in our past 2 decades, we have been serial winners. Please show me that you understand that Champions League was 4 years ago and we still have some remnants of that club. Please show me that you deserve the job and you want to go back again. That's how I feel. So no, we're not back yet. We're not back, but we are showing that this group of individuals is ready to go play. That's what today is. And I'm watching this game, and I said this is going to be a nasty 1-0 win. I'm watching this game in shout out Old Angle Pub in Ohio City. They had all of the top 4 matches on different TVs. We had Villa fans, Newcastle fans, City, United. You could the whole gambit. We all in there screaming, getting mad, looking at the other TV to see who scored. Oh, United scored. Okay, yeah. Now all the Villa fans are getting. Wait. Emmy got a red card. Oh no. Now all the Newcastle fans are. So for me, I was really in the thick of it today, and I'm just in the corner watching the game by myself on my own TV because there wasn't a lot of Chelsea fans in there. But at the end of the day, my team had to win to get in. It could have been a draw or this, that, and the third. The whole model I've been saying, win, we're in. Yeah, maybe Newcastle if they draw. Oh, maybe Villa if they don't get enough points. It didn't matter. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. Even though they didn't do what they were supposed to do, we had to do what we were supposed to do. So, no, Chelsea isn't fully back, but come Wednesday and I'll let you know. Come Wednesday.
So, before we get into that, your Conference League final and the Champions League final, I wanted to ask you guys a question. Gabriel, I'll start with you. Who do you think it was more disappointing for? Who is it more disappointing for them to miss out on Champions League? Aston Villa or Nottingham Forest?
Villa. And only because I think with their manager, with the team that they've been in Europe now. Unai Emery is a proven serial winner in Europa League and in Europe. I thought that he would have gotten his team, back in Europa at least. But they're in Europa League. I'm sorry, right? They're sixth, so they're in Europa League.
Mhm.
So they're yeah, so they're
Yeah.
in Europa League. But I personally do think he wanted to take that next step, and Villa has been in Champions League before. They're in this past year, and I think they want to just remain that status. So it is a step down for them. But for Nottingham Forest, this is brand new territory. They've never. I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Nottingham Forest has touched Champions League before.
No, they've won.
No, they've won it twice.
They've won. Oh,
72,
excuse. Well,
71
I'm
and
sorry.
72, something like
Yeah.
that.
So way back in the day, yes, but in current times, in the past, in our generations and our kids' generation, they have not won anything.
Right.
So, this is a team for in this era, they have not even been close to Champions League. They haven't sniffed it. Yes, they've won it in the past and a long time ago, but I think this is a bigger loss for Villa than it is for Nottingham Forest. Simple as that.
I mean, for me, I think it has to be Forest. You were there all season. I mean, majority of the season you were in the mix, and then the last 5 to 6 weeks, it all came falling apart. So, for me, I think it has to be Forest. I mean, for a club that hasn't been there for years and years and years, I think they would have loved to play in the Champions League, especially with all the investments they've made recently. But it is.
You spent $2 billion. All right, go ahead.
What are you talking about?
I don't really know.
What did I say that was
honestly don't.
wrong? They
Honestly don't
they
know.
literally invested on their team. They would have loved to make Champions League. They didn't.
Yeah, no. I mean,
What are you
Mark is like,
talking about?
I spent $1 billion. I made it. So
yeah.
I guess that's what we have to do too, Gabriel. If you want to make top 4, $1 billion. If it doesn't work, spend another one.
Just so
Yes,
over. I'm so
correct.
over these morale wins. Like, oh my gosh! Like,
you're not talking about
I'm so
morale as an
over it.
Arsenal
I'm
fan.
so over it. I'm
What?
so over it. These guys.
I don't know what a
Bro,
morale
I'm-
win
Talk to
is.
me
It's
about
cool.
morale
It's cool.
wins.
It's cool. It's
Don't
cool.
talk-
It's cool.
don't-
It's calm.
in
don't
this
go
case,
there.
in this
It's
case,
calm.
in this
What?
case, we're
An
celebrating
Arsenal
top
fan talking
four,
about
and now
morale
top
wins.
four.
Flexing second place for the third year. Please.
Who,
sit down.
what,
Sit out of
Mike,
this
Mike,
conversation.
when, no,
Sit out of
Mike,
this
when have I
conversation talk.
ever
Arsenal
flexed
fan
second
talking
place?
about morale
When have I
wins.
ever,
Come on,
when have I
man.
ever flexed second
Come
place?
on,
When have I ever
man.
flexed second place? You talk about the rest
Come
of
on,
the world.
man.
You're not talking
5
about
points
Gabriel.
off
You're not
of
talking about
y'all.
Gabriel. You're not
Did you
talking
have a
about
good
Gabriel.
season?
You're not
Did you
talking
have a
about
good
Gabriel.
season?
You're not talking about Gabriel. No, don't talk about. When you talk about the Arsenal fans of the world.
coming up.
Yeah,
Hold on,
no, don't. Come
don't
on.
fuck up
Come
what we
on.
got
No,
going
don't
on.
do.
Hold on.
Don't
First
do
of
that,
all,
Mike. Come on,
Mike,
don't do
what
that.
you need to do,
Sure.
what you need to do is say his name. Say his name. He's
Yeah,
listening.
no,
Don't do that with me. 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 Don't do that with me.
Say-
Because
say
that's
his
not
name.
that's not the real. Don't do that with me.
The gasser. You
gasser.
get it. You get it. I
No, yeah. I
understand
mean,
what
when we're on here, we're talking about us. We're not talking about the world of football. But at the end of the day,
YG. Yeah.
yeah. At the end of the day, when you look at what we've all done, I'm never gonna gas fourth place, but for us to be here right now is something.
Yeah,
to talk
here you
about.
are
I don't-
gassing fourth place, but go ahead.
Who's
Nobody's
gassing fourth
gassing it
place?
because of the disrespect. That's all. For me, that's
Michael,
all
I don't know where
I'm
he's on your
gassing it
screen,
because of
but
the
he's above
disrespect.
me, Michael.
Yeah.
But
No.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we're in Champions League again. We're back in the Champions League. That's been the goal since Roman left. Let's get back to where we're supposed to be. But at the end of the day, man, I think this is a tougher loss for Villa because, to echo what Gabriel said, Unai Emery, he's proven in Europe. This Villa team, they made all the necessary upgrades. Think about what they did last summer. Think about what they did in January. They've been very heavy on the signings, and they got the right guys in to go make a push for Europe. They weren't able to do it this year, and I think that's tough, especially losing on the last day in the fashion that they lost. For me, you have to go with what we've seen lately, and again, they were, like Gabriel said, they were in Champions League this year. They've been in Europe. We know who they are. We know who Unai Emery is. So yeah, Villa, I think it's a bigger loss for them because I think they expected it more.
Okay. No, I mean, I think that's right. I mean, I when the final whistle blew, Unai Emery was just standing there, and like Amarim kind of had to like walk over. You know, typically they just kind of meet in the middle. But bro he was stuck on his side. He was just looking, and he had to like walk across and like say, you know, shake his hand, whatever. But I just thought that was interesting because then on the other side for the Nottingham Forest guy, I saw the owner with his wired headphones on, and he was just sitting there, yeah, just looking like, bruh. And I feel him. That's why I was thinking, and like when you guys were saying that, I was thinking like, bruh, has to be Nottingham Forest. Like you were there.
You were there, yeah.
And just, but nah, man. So yeah, before we get into the Champions League final, man, Premier League season's done. It's over. A good season in the books. Let's get into this Conference League final. You guys are the first team on the podcast to be representing yourselves in this Conference League, the UCL. What would this win mean to you guys? Is this a?
What will it mean to me specifically, or what will it mean to the Chelsea fan base?
I mean, what would it mean to you? Obviously, like I'm not even
Nothing
so
at
much
all.
looking at. I'm not really. You don't think that
No,
it's
bro,
like
this, for
it's a
me,
big deal for me.
this
all
is a
right,
big
I'll
deal.
go
It's
my-
a big
See,
deal.
this is this nonsense I'm talking about. This
European
is
team to win all the
absolute
European
nonsense that I'm talking about. But go ahead.
No, but this is
It's a
for
big
me
deal.
personally. For me personally,
Don't let
I
Arsenal fan
personally
tell you it's
think
not.
I personally think this is beneath us, and I said that last week. I think this is good for lower clubs to be introduced into Europe and potentially try to get up the ladder into Europa and potentially Champions League. But for our stature of Chelsea Football Club, I know we've fallen. Let me not say we didn't fall from grace. We fell from grace and we hit the ground hard. But as a supporter of Chelsea Football Club since 2003, I personally believe that we should go in and win this championship. What it will mean for me is that this group of kids, this group of individuals, this group of Chelsea, they finally have something that says, okay, now we can start to we've arrived. This is what it means for me personally. I think this competition is beneath us, but for these boys, they need to arrive, and I think this officially stamps them, bro. Again, like I said last year, that sixth place losing to United in the FA Cup hurt because I thought the Europa League was right where our level was for this year. But the fact that we had to go through Conference League, we were top of the league at the end of the group, the league format. During the knockout stages, we went through with flying colors. This Batiste team, they're not no joke. They ain't no slumps. But at the end of the day, I think we're better than them. So I believe that we'll go in, we'll get the win, and this will be the moment that this group arrives in the Premier League. That's how I feel, personally.
Hey, for me personally, there's no trophy that's beneath us. I don't care if it's some fifth division trophy. I'm trying to win that trophy. You know, I will never let teams that don't win trophies guilt me into feeling bad about winning a trophy. Hell no. This is a big deal for us. We win this trophy, we become what? First European team to have every single European trophy. It's a fucking big deal. It is a big deal. Like if your team is not a European caliber team, yeah, I get it. It's nothing. Oh, this trophy is not beneath us, man. It is not. This, like you said, Cornelius, it stamps this guys, you know, like kind of like their graduation to, you know, the big leagues. So yeah, it's a big deal for these players that, you know, we have newly acquired, you know, recently. So for me, it's a big deal. I want the win. Real Betis is not. It's not an easy team that we're just going to walk all over. So this is a match I'm very much looking forward to. And if we don't win it, people will come on here and be like, "Oh, you didn't win it." Yeah. So it's a big deal for me. I want us to win every trophy we come in contact with. No trophies beneath us. So that's how I feel.
So you guys both got Chelsea beating Betis.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Correct.
I do. I'm a little nervous, but I do.
I'm very nervous.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm not nervous because I know our history in finals. So especially a team that this is their first time there, man. Again, this is a lot of their first times there. We know that certain people aren't built for the bright lights. We about to find out who is.
True.
You're gonna do this.
Look,
All right,
man,
Gabriel.
I've been saying this. I believe in us. I've been saying this for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I actually believe in this team. I hope they can prove me right.
Me too, bro. Gabriel, before we get into Champions League, locks of the week, how do we do?
Honestly, went 3 for 1. My lock was the only one that didn't hit. It was I had Southampton not scoring at all because I wanted David Raya to get a clean sheet to, complete
Win.
the golden glove. But he did it anyway. It's a co-golden glove winners this year, so 13 clean sheets did it. Shout out to David Raya for doing it. But no, 3-1 on the locks this week. End of the year strong. So
Who was the other Golden Glove winner?
it's the man
Sales.
from
Sales.
Sales from
Forest.
Thank you. Yes.
Mhm.
Cells. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was caught off guard too. I was like, what?
Yeah. They know that at home, bro. They were very, very good at home. I got a lot of clean sheets at home. So yeah. But yeah.
Cells? Damn.
Yeah, I know. I
Sales,
was
what's
surprised
Sales
too.
going for? Sales going for a smooth 30, 40? Hey. All right, man. Champions League final, man. Let's I'm gonna start with you, Gabriel. Who we
Inter.
got, man? Inter Milan. Okay.
Inter. That's it.
Internacional. Okay.
They've been waiting on this. They lost already. And I know this PSG team has lost in the finals as well with Gigi, but this is a completely different team. And this Inter team is fresh, 2 years from a loss, back in blood. This is a we're trying to get it back in blood moment for Inter. I feel it, and this is not even like on a hater, like our PSG beat Arsenal. So no. This is just me just looking at. Oh, I'm so serious. Like this is just me looking at it for matchup. I think defense wins matches, which Inter has. I think with Inter being in the final of the past in the past 2 years, them losing, they have a taste for Champions League at this moment, and I think it's going to be Inter. I think it's going to be close. I think it'll be like a 2-2. If I'm being completely honest, like a 2-1, 2-2. It might go to extra time, but I have Inter in this draw. So
I think I'm gonna go with the team I've doubted all year. I'm gonna go with PSG. It seems like this could possibly be their year. I mean, they've had some huge wins on their way to the finals, and I think it continues. I think they can beat this Inter team. Defensively, I'm a little worried for PSG, but offensively, I think they have enough to get the job done. And I've doubted them all year, so why not? Why not? Finally hop on the train at the finals. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going with PSG.
I got PSG. Shout out Dembouz. Shout out Barcola. Shout out Doué. Bring it home.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with PSG, man. I've liked this team all year, especially with Luis Enrique. I don't know if you guys remember, this was one of my dark horses for Champions League, and here they are in the final.
Yeah,
so I think I'm gonna stick with them. I think they just have a lot of match winners, man. I look around that team. Gabriel, you're right. You brought up a great point. Inter's defense is really sound, and they don't really concede that much. And in a final, that's what you need. But they got a lot of match winners. PSG do. Between Dembele, Doué, Vitinha could get a goal. João Neves, Kvaratskhelia, Barcola. I just feel like they have. Marquinhos could get a header. I don't know. I just feel like they have a lot of different ways on how they can score. And their Achilles heel to me is going to be their back line. Can they keep them out? Donnarumma has had a great season, especially in Europe. Can you really kind of mirror that form that you had against Arsenal? Because shit, bro. If you can, I think that it could be a shout, but I mean, I was gonna say Dembele could probably win Ballon d'Or if he wins this Champions League.
No,
It's a strong case.
that's just me. No. But that's just
Who
me.
would you say? Who would you say? Rafinha?
No, I think.
Yamal for Ballon d'Or.
Thank you. I think at this point it's gonna. Come on,
Oh
man.
yeah, I mean,
I
Come on.
personally don't think he'll win Ballon d'Or, but I see where you're saying he won the league, he won
If
Ballon d'Or.
but he
Left
if he
it to
wins
him.
this, he wins the treble though. So I just feel like, isn't that everything? He wins the
I
treble. He's
mean,
already won
yeah, but
the league
I
competition.
think I think if Dembele is able to actually put up GA in this Champions League final and win it, he has a case. But if not, no. I'm sorry. If they win 1-0, no. I think it's going to Yamal. That's just where I'm at. But
No,
I don't know.
and it's funny, and I'm glad we could probably end on this. I know we're a little bit over time, but I think the footballing world understands that Yamal is the best player in the world, but I don't think that we're ready to give him the Ballon d'Or. And that's personally, truly how I feel. Like, I mean, you go watch a lot of these interviews. Even Cole Palmer was just recently, interviewed asking who he thinks the
Yeah.
best player in the world is, and he says Jamal. Like, as a footballer, when you see the things that he's able to do at his age and with the confidence he does it, and the thing for me is that he's able to make every player around him better. When he's on the pitch, the ball goes through him, the game flows through him. But once he gets his goal, once he gets his assist, you see him lifting his other players up. And I think that is a quality that he might win 4, 5, 6, 7 of these things.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
barring any injury, knock on wood, he's going to be one of those players that he's going to be one of them ones for the next whoever knows how long, because people are already asking what his ceiling is. We really don't know. Like, we actually don't know what his ceiling is. So for me, it's just been a pleasure to watch him play this year, and I think he's the best player in the world. Do I think he'll win Ballon d'Or? No, but for me, this kid is going to be, he's special for sure. We know that, but if you look at what Dembele has done this entire Champions League campaign, he scored in the big moments, Gabriel. He scored in a lot of these matches that the knockout matches. So for me, he does have a hard case, and I see where Salam's coming from.
No, I
I'll
mean,
end
like,
it there.
bro, I agree with you, Cornelius, and I agree with you, Gabriel, that if we're talking about who the best player in the world is, I think it's I think it's Yamal. That's why I said a while back that it wasn't even Rafinha, because he's not even the best player on his team. But with the way that they look at the scope of, this is what the criteria is for Ballon d'Or. They look at team success. And yes, he's won La Liga. He's won the what is it, Copa del Rey? But if Dembele wins this, he'll have won a treble. So literally every competition I was in, I won. So, but no, should be a great final. I got a due goal. I don't know where, but if you guys are betting out there, I'll go get due.
Come shoot it.
You guys got shout outs? Man, it's our last shout outs.
Shout outs is
Yes.
to
Go ahead.
Chelsea Football Club. It's been a long 2 years, out of the out of Europe, and I'm glad we're back. I can't wait for us to introduce, our young talent to the world. That's for me. That's
Keep
been
it,
the
Mike.
only
Keep it.
thing.
Keep that.
But anyways, and I also want to shout out Ty Baribo, because I have not heard of this guy until recently, and every time I feel like I've tuned in to watch a game that Philly he's been playing, he scored. So that's my shout out for this week, Ty Baribo.
I have one shout out, just one this week, and Arsenal men weren't able to do it, but
Yeah.
the women, Champions League winners. Shout out to Arsenal Women's Football Club, football team. Blackstenius on the goal today, assisted by Beth Mead.
Baller. Beth
We
is a
haven't Yeah, 100%. We haven't lifted the Champions League trophy in over, I believe, 18 or 19 years on the women's side. And it's just a testament to to their hard work, to the dedication, to knock Barcelona off that pedestal. Barcelona's been the main one on the women's side, winning the Champions League, and we're finally able to get ours. So the women were able to do it. Shout out to them. Leah Williamson had an amazing match, by the way, as well. Just oh my goodness. But yeah, the men will follow suit very, very soon. But I was very, very happy that the women were able to get it done this year. So shout out to Arsenal Women's Football Club. Mad love.
Yeah, that's. I saw a comment that said, "Don't go send a man to go do a woman's job."
That's crazy.
That's fair. That's a
No,
fair
that's
dog.
crazy.
But now I wanted to go next because I wanted to kind of build off of what Gabriel said. Shout out to them, the whole team, but I wanted to shout out the coach, Renee Sliegers. Um, she took over as interim manager in October, and then she made it permanent in January, and now she's written into the club's history books as one of the managers that has won the Champions League. So shout out to her, man, and the team in general. I mean, the journey wasn't easy. They had to battle through the Champions League playoffs, and then here they are lifting the trophy. So shout out to her. There's a lot of players that I was happy to see lift that trophy too. Alicia Russo, like Gabriel said, Leah Williamson, Emily Fox, Chloe Kelly too, man. She was written off by Man City at the beginning of the year, and then for her to get that move this year, and then now lift the Champions League trophy is huge. So shout out to them, man.
And I
Definitely.
forgot exactly who it was as well. I'm trying to pull up their name, but there's someone who actually has won the Champions League now 3 years in a row who came from Barcelona, won the last 2 years, and then she came to Arsenal and she now won.
Oh,
I want
yeah,
to.
I did see
I
that.
gotta. I'm trying to pull her name up, but yeah, no, it's crazy. It's really is crazy. Um, oh, Mariona
Yeah,
Caldenti. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Mariona, yeah.
She was at Barcelona all her career. Recently came to Arsenal, won the Champions League now 3 years in a row, and I feel like she's definitely been a big part of this club, but this team, but also just I don't know once you win the Champions League and no one has won it around you for some time, you bring that experience and it definitely helps in those moments. So no, I'm very happy with our women's side right now. It's mad love.
And then I'll end
Yeah,
it
man.
here. Shout out Tottenham Hotspur. I if anyone knows me for real, and if you've been listening to this pod, you know that I really, really, really have had some choice words for Tottenham.
Hmm.
It's been a long time coming. And to be honest, I have, a decent amount of friends that support this club here in America. And I got a lot of texts, but I really, really, really got the same sentiment from every single one of them. They said it feels like just the weight's been lifted off our shoulders, bro. Like we got our first one, and to beat Manchester United, they're like everyone wants to beat the biggest teams. So to beat Manchester United, in that fashion, I really understand like why a lot of those guys are feeling the way they're feeling. They're all popping they all talking they talk right now. So I want to say shout out to Tottenham. And once again, and I'll end it here. Shout out to the boys in blue. We're back in Champions League. We're back where we belong, boys. We're back.
I hear you. I did have one more. Um, the last shout out of this season is going to go to Gotham FC for winning the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Esther Gonzalez scored the winner. This was actually the first time. This is the inaugural tournament, by the way. So they're champions of the inaugural tournament after their 1-0 victory over Tigres. And honestly, man, kind of looking at it like the Carabao Cup, don't want to by any means downplay the trophy, but I think that this could really serve as like I feel like I'm saying it a lot, but a confidence booster for this team going into this latter part of the NWSL season, so that they can really kind of kick on and give their season new life. So hopefully that this can kind of get them back on track. And yeah, I mean, big win for them. But yeah, guys, Premier League season's over. I mean, Europe is going to be concluded this Saturday. So, um, well, you guys play what, Wednesday? I don't like how you got the Conference League plays after Europa League. I don't like
Bro,
that.
I never like that, and I feel like they need to figure that out. To be honest, with all these tournaments
Yeah.
now, like the
No,
FA Cup used to be played at the end of the year. Now it's played, before Super Sunday. It's just all messed up.
No, it's disgusting how I'm not even trying to put this on just strictly Arsenal, but I'm trying to put this on every team. Teams that and they changed it for next year, but why are we playing the first leg at home for a Champions League? Like if we're ahead of the team on the table, the first leg should be there and the second leg should be at home for
I agree
us,
with you
whoever's
100%.
ahead on the table. And this was not the case this year, and they changed it for next year. But I'm just talking about for all of Europe. It's been a very, Europe's going through a lot of changes with this past year with this just the changing of the format. So it comes with this little hiccups, but I'm glad, come next year that they'll change those things. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I can agree with that, Canoise, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Conference League should be played first, and then it kind of builds up to the Europa, and then I think Champions League. It kind of throws us off. Europa's already played, and then now we're playing Conference League final. Maybe it's an idea for them to kind of build more attention around it, but I don't know. I also think it's kind of weird.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sending the wrong message, in my opinion. Do you guys even know what the Conference League trophy looks like? I'm curious.
Salam, don't do that. Do
Yeah.
not do that.
Come
You
on,
know what
bro.
it looks
Come
like.
on.
Hey,
Yes,
bro, just
we
leave
all
it
know
right now.
the.
You over here trying to do too
Yeah,
much.
come on,
Okay.
come on.
All
You
right.
trying to do too much.
Salam, man.
What a season, guys. Season 5, man.
Wow. It's crazy. This is crazy.
That was nuts.
Oh, yeah. It's about to get crazier.
It is.
It's about to get
You better
crazier.
be
So.
crazy at the kickback, huh? Crazy at the kickback.
It's crazy.
We'll see. Some of us will be in Champions League. Some of us will be in.
At home.
Yeah, no, just kick it back. Just
And
kick
man,
it back. So.
just kicking back in Manchester.
Yeah, man. So appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Mm.
As always, good luck to you in your future endeavors.